Mashable's daily culture and entertainment show that gives you tomorrow's biggest news stories today. I'm your host, a bad cubist rendition of Joan London, but also I'm known as Dory Greenberg. On MASH on This, we give you a quick rundown of what we think is the best the internet has to offer. So be sure to tell us what you think in the comments. We'll get to them at the end of the show. Don't be shy. Now, let's get into it. First of all, happy unofficial Star Wars Day! Yay! In these uncertain times on Earth, remember that you can always choose to be on the light side of the Force, and that a Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack. Live long and that is the wrong star thing. May the 4th be with you. Moving on. This weekend, we would have seen the second half of the hilariously catastrophic Frye Festival. And even though this attempt at a luxury culture moment has since been canceled for now, stories surrounding its downfall keep rolling in. Vice has now come out with a report about why this endeavor that was founded by rich white bro Billy McFarland and rapper sham man Ja Rule suddenly found itself without any money to spend. The short answer? They blew it all their early funding, on expensive models, yachts, and private jets. According to the Frye Fest employees who spoke to Vice, McFarland spent $250,000 on a single Instagram post from Kendall Jenner, while other lesser-known influencers got paid at least $20 grand for their social promotion of the event, most of which was not properly labeled as ads and are now under investigation by the Federal Trade Commission. Amateur hour. And as you can see in this corny mannequin challenge video, the young spoiled bro would also fly down every other weekend for lavish occasions on islands close to Exuma, except only male employees and female models were allowed to go. Once he started his second round of groveling for more money, McFarland admitted that he had spent several $million on celebrity endorsements and marketing, and then he needed more cash to pay vendors, staffers, and artists. A little ass backwards, don't you think? And listen, it might seem like I get pleasure from talking about this cluster fart that is costing McFarland and Ja Rule their reputations, and that's just because I do. But I also hope that maybe all of this public shaming will keep them from trying to scam innocent people in the future. That's all. You know, when I think of a strong, independent female superhero, I think of how disgusting and fat I am. Doesn't every feminist? Well, that's what Warner Brothers Pictures thinks, because they are marketing the new Wonder Woman film with Think Thin, a wellness and diet food company. They're even running a Wonder Woman-type contest, which encourages Wonder Woman fans to spend $15 on their products to get a $5 movie discount. Now, if you're mentally stuck in the 1950s and maybe you can't see the glaringly offensive juxtaposition of female empowerment marketing and weight loss products, the word thin is in the company's name, for crying out loud. And aside from claims that there have been fewer Wonder Woman trailers than other DC Warner Brothers movies, and that fans report seeing less advertising for this movie than other male-led superhero films, this blatant alignment of a female superhero with diet food is honestly unforgivable. What do you think, though? Does this also make you want to hit your head against a wall until you're so disoriented that you can't see this kind of marketing anymore? Let us know in the comments. You guys, if it wasn't for Wikipedia, where else would you go to settle petty arguments about 90s boy band discography and who's currently on the Supreme Court? Nowhere, I tell you. Sure, it might not be totally accurate 100% of the time, but it's still a source of information that, quite frankly, we take for granted in America. And now, China is compiling its own version of Wikipedia, the first of its kind for the nation, which aims to go live next year. It'll be a free online encyclopedia. However, the public won't be able to write or edit it. And that's because it's owned by the Chinese government, which handpicked 20,000 scholars and experts to write 300,000 entries, increasing its efforts to control information available on the internet. China also regularly blocks overseas sites, including Facebook and Twitter, and has periodically blocked Wikipedia's English and Chinese versions. This project is being led by the Encyclopedia of China Publishing House, and their senior editor told the Associated Press that they plan to have entries on political leaders in the history of the Communist Party, but again, it'll be content that's approved by the government. So these entries will likely present a single official version of sensitive historical events and exclude items like the Tiananmen crackdown and the outlawed Falun Gong spiritual group, which, quote, never exist on the internet. I mean, can you imagine if Jimmy Wales, or maybe worse, the people running the US government right now, had this kind of control over public information? Actually, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to imagine it. It's fine. So, remember how Kendall Jenner was bamboozled into participating in that god-awful tone-deaf Pepsi ad? And then how she was paid 6 figures to promote the Fyre Festival? Well, if you can believe it, she's made yet another questionable decision. For Vogue India's 10th anniversary, Kendall Jenner, a white woman, was featured on the cover of its May issue. Obviously, this is kind of weird because shouldn't the Indian edition of this magazine be celebrating Indian people for such an occasion? To be fair, it was ultimately the editors of Vogue India who thought it would be appropriate to feature Kendall on the cover instead of any other Indian celebrity or model. However, that has not stopped the internet from lashing out. Here are 2 of my favorite points that came out of this. Tweet 1, yes, I agree with Emma. My Indian friends are some of the most attractive people I know, and Indian models are so gorgeous, it's hard to believe. And yeah, Kendall really seems to like this pose. I don't know, maybe it's because it's basic and leans on the talent of others. But what do you think about Kendall's Vogue India cover? Do you think she knew that she would be on the cover, or was this another I had no idea moment? Holler in the comments. I'm sure many of you watching were either hit by the Gmail phishing attack that happened yesterday or knew someone who was. Our very own producer, Sarah, was hit especially hard when she received a fake Google Doc invite from one of her exes. If only she had an Android phone, she would be less vulnerable to future phishing attacks. And that's because Google has added a new anti-phishing security check for its Gmail app for Android. Sorry, iPhone users, this ain't for you, but for the rest of y'all, the Gmail app will now give you an additional warning when you click on a suspicious link in an email. The new feature, which will gradually be rolled out to all Gmail users over the next days, however, it's unclear whether the new Gmail security check would have been able to stop yesterday's attack. Nevertheless, Sarah is praying desperately that it gets rolled out soon because she simply cannot deal with another scare from a past love. Ain't that right, Sarah?
That's right.
I don't think any of us are. You guys, today, Thursday, is today. Some call it Thirsty Thursday. Clearly I do. But it's a great day for a happy hour. However, Canucks who are partial to bees knees and Negronis have some upsetting news to contend with because Bombay Sapphire has been forced to recall all their gin across Canada after it was found that some bottles contain 77% alcohol instead of the typical 40%. For context, standard isopropyl alcohol, the rubbing stuff, contains 70% alcohol. According to Bacardi, which produces Bombay Sapphire, up to 6,000 bottles were affected during an unfortunate 45-minute window when workers were switching from one bottling tank to another one. Again, this is only in Canada, and thankfully nobody has gotten sick from this. But also, there's no reason to cry over spilt gin because people can return any recalled bottles and use that money to buy safer liquor. So, l'chaim to that. Boo!